welcome to this episode of Pardon Your French Podcast. I'm Vanessa Shernock.
I'm Stephanie Lauren.
And we're here today with Lex Burrows. He's the owner and producer of Coppercock Gin. We're going to have a little conversation with Lex today about his experience living in France and his experience starting up a distillery, running a bar, being a chef at a restaurant, basically everything he's ever done since he moved here. So
I'm excited. Gin is my favourite subject, actually.
Yeah, I mean, gin is like, it's had a proper blow up, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So we'll do what we always do, which is ask you how you ended up living in France.
So I moved here in 2004 because my parents moved here a couple of years before I did to open a restaurant. So, I finished up university and came across to join them. And, I went to work in the restaurant. I started off, decided I didn't want to be in the kitchen. I'd done some chefing work at university and stuff, but nothing serious. But after my first shift in the dining room where I dropped a carafe of wine behind the 90-year-old lady we think she was, I went straight into the kitchen and decided I'd rather learn from my mother and learn how to be a chef.
Oh, nice. And actually, my first date with Simon was at the restaurant that your parents used to run.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was really funny because you're not supposed to like go into restaurants in France. It's really bad etiquette to like go into a restaurant in France and then sit down and then look at the menu and walk out. Like, it's super bad etiquette, apparently. But what happened was there was a restaurant around the corner, and it was like a random day where not a lot of places seemed like they were open. And for whatever reason, Simon and I and two other guys, this was my first date with Simon, yeah.
Okay.
Simon and I and two other guys, Prith and Ben, we walked into this other restaurant, not ever having been in before, looked at the menu. The guys all saw there was no steak on the menu, and we're like, fuck this, let's go to Lex's. And so we walked around the corner, and like all the while, one of the guys with us was French. He was like, no, you can't do that, man. And he's like going up to the lady who runs this restaurant and apologizing profusely as we just like stroll out, because, you know, we saw the menu and we didn't like what we saw or whatever. And so then we went to Lex's. I got in a very slight disagreement about wine with your dad.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
What? You didn't ask for any Californian wines?
No, I didn't, but we let Prith, this was kind of where it all originated, obviously. You know your father well enough to know. He's Swiss, and so he thought that he's made a comment about Swiss wine because Prith was picking out the wine, and he was asking what everybody liked, and I was like, oh, I'm kind of partial to this because I'm from California, and Paul just like shook his head and was like, Californian wine is terrible. And I was like, oh.
Get this American bitch out of my restaurant.
Yeah.
See if I can goats her out nicely.
We get on well now, though. Paul's lovely. So like I mentioned, is your dad's Swiss, your mom's Iranian. You hold both passports?
No, I hold a Swiss passport.
Swiss passport, no Iranian one. Do you hold a British passport as well?
I used to. I'm still entitled to one. It's just that every time I need one, I want one, they tell me it'll take 3 months to process it.
Oh, God. I've got to renew mine next, and I'm like...
That's where you have the little
This last one, it was great in that I was going away as a kid on a school field trip to Switzerland. And my British passport had expired. So we tried to renew it, and they said 3 months. So that put the trip in jeopardy. My dad said, well, actually, you are a Swiss national as well. So we literally walked into the Swiss embassy in London and walked out 20 minutes later with a Swiss passport.
Wow. 20 minutes.
And then when that needed renewing, thought, well, you know, I live in the UK. I've lived here all my life. Probably should have a British passport. Went down the route of maybe getting it renewed still, and they again said, it'll take 3 months. So I just walked back into the Swiss embassy and said, can I renew this, please? And 20 minutes later, I went back to collect a brand new passport.
Yeah. My God. I mean, you don't really need a British passport, do you?
It takes a bit longer now because everything now has to go back to Switzerland for the biometric data and everything else.
Oh, okay.
It's still a great service. And you get ID cards, which that'll take a passport everywhere.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Wow.
I know. Switzerland, huh? God, who'd have thunk?
We salute you.
I know.
No, it comes from my grandmother. Because it was in the early 90s. The Swiss embassy phoned my dad up and said Switzerland's changed its inheritance laws of nationality. whereby you can now inherit your nationality through your mother, which you couldn't do before, apparently.
All right.
So they asked her, would he like Swiss nationality? And he said, that'd be very nice. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
They said, and they said, would you like it for your children? And we went, well, absolutely.
That's great. Yes, I do. Yeah.
And then they said, would you like it for your wife? And my wife being Persian with an Iranian passport, which is not the most useful passport in the world, that seemed like a great idea.
Yeah.
Oh, that's incredible. That's like winning the lottery, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's that kind of, oh my God, is this actually happening situation? Like, I never hear of things like that. That's a
Really cool.
great story. Wow.
It's really cool. So you worked in the restaurant, and then your parents basically decided to retire and close the restaurant.
Well, so a year before parents retired, well, about a year and a half before they retired, I moved to Germany with my now wife, Linda. And while we were there, I studied distilling, and we came to the conclusion, okay, let's give this a proper go. So we were deciding where to go to open a distillery. We didn't really fancy staying in Germany, but the choice was really Ireland or France. And it seemed a lot actually easier to, bureaucracy-wise, believe it or not, to open one in France than Ireland.
Wow. Well, it seemed to be the key.
Well, no, today it still actually is quicker and easier here than it is in Ireland.
Wow.
So, we came back and it was during COVID and everything, so came back and we knocked down, cleared out my parents' wood store barn at their house, and they very kindly had the place renovated for it to be used and everything. And we're now the route to opening a distillery here in the lovely Dordogne.
That's fantastic.
So it was only like 4 years ago, or five years ago.
You started the
gin.
Yeah. You probably saw him at his first ever.
Yeah, I was at Longebo when I first moved here and went to the Christmas market, and I saw this gin, and I am an absolute gin lover. I used to get drunk on gin at my nan's house. She was terrible.
Wonderful.
And it was always with a great roast dinner. It was like best times. And I saw your gin, and I was saying that I saw it had like the ones with like gold flakes in and lights around it. And I was like, this is amazing. And I saw like a lavender flavour, and I've never seen anything, even in England, I've never seen anything like it before. Yeah. I was really impressed.
Yeah, something we wanted to do was something different with the flavours, because gin is especially in the UK, it's a flooded market. But a lot of the flavours are the same. So we have got all that are the same as other people. Like we have a rhubarb and ginger gin, and we have a blood orange gin. But things like one we sell a lot of is our cranberry gin. And I don't know about now, but at the time, we checked out on the internet and everything to see if there was another cranberry gin anywhere in the world. We couldn't find one.
Wow.
Great, though. And this cranberry, it's like that tart flavor, and it seems like it would pair well, same way that ginger, it's like that bitingness kind of cuts in with the tonic, because you say you only drink gin with tonic. You don't do straight gin.
I genuinely hate straight gin.
Yeah, me too. It has to be tonic.
Even when people want to taste it, and they're quite fancy people, and they think the best way to taste gin is to actually drink it neat. I don't understand it, because there's so many different botanicals and flavors in gin that if you have it neat, they're all still compressed.
Yeah.
If you have a mixer with it, even if you just put water with it instead of tonic water, if you don't want to change the flavor at all, it'll open the flavors.
Yeah, open that bouquet up.
But drinking it neat, you just get a hammer blood, and it's
a bit overbearing.
Yeah. Well, it's not going to reflect at all what you have as a long drink, unless you are intent on sitting there and drinking shots of neat gin, which a few of my customers do.
Do they?
Yep.
Shots of
neat gin. This should be why I don't like gin, because when I was a kid,
not just neat gin.
Yeah, when I was a kid, like I went to Ireland at 18 and went to duty free, and obviously in the US you can't drink till you're 21 legally. And so I went to duty free, and it was like 2 liters of alcohol for X amount of pounds, and so I bought a liter of whiskey and a liter of gin, and then obviously brought it home through customs. The guy let it slide through customs, and had like parties at my house where you're a teenager, so you're just gonna drink shots of whatever it is. So definitely drinking shots of London Dry gin.
London Dry gin.
That could explain my non-affinity toward the gin problem.
Most people have got an experience with London Dry gin. Like, we used to have parties and water it down, like raid my mum and dad's like liquor cabinet
Yeah.
drink the gin with water, and then we'd fill the gin bottle back up with water. So,
Yeah, but everybody does that, don't they?
When I was at school, some kids broke into my locker and nicked a bottle of pastis. They put it back after they watered it down, but what they didn't realise was if you add water to pastis, it goes cloudy. So it was instantly recognisable.
That somebody watered
That in fact, you walked into the room and it just smelled of aniseed.
yeah. I think I've tried that once. Not for me. Not for me. So what's this blue flavour here?
So that's raspberry and lavender.
Oh, wow.
and it changes color.
It does.
Does it?
Yeah. We finish it with butterfly pea flowers, which we get from Southeast Asia. And it makes the gin go blue. And then when you add tonic to it, it goes a sort of pinky, lilac-y.
I've got some tonic, you know. Like I think after we have a little break, we should do like a little example.
Yeah,
Example
that's
for it. Those are
amazing.
the thing. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Lex is like, I like gin.
It's always gin. Well,
Yeah.
It's always gin. I
Yeah,
love that.
I know. Well, this is another reason we started later today was because I was like, well, we might end up drinking and we got to
Lighting the produce. So what flavour is this one here?
that one's the blood orange.
Yeah.
So we infuse it twice. We put blood orange juice in the pot. We put blood orange peels in the vapor basket. And then the second infusion actually comes after it's been made. It goes back in a barrel with a lot more of the orange skins.
Wow. And how long does that process? I mean, I love gin, but I've got no idea how it's made. So how long does that process take?
They all take a bit different times in that it depends what fruits we're steeping afterwards, because that's where they all get their colours from. So it's all natural. There's no chemicals or anything in these,
Amazing.
which does mean that they lose their colour over time.
Oh, right.
just-
Yeah. So, like, if this sits in the bottle for a year.
It's in the bottle, especially in sunlight, you fade.
Oh.
And some in sunlight, they can fade quite quickly. They keep their flavours. The flavour doesn't change, just the colour. Just the colour seems natural. But yeah, for London dry gin, it's a relatively quick process, really. We start the maceration 24 hours before we run it through the stills. And once it's come out of the still, usually wait 12 hours, 12 to 24 hours before we water it down to 40%. And 40%, then it's drinkable immediately.
All right.
Wow.
Sometimes it looshes.
So, which comes out the distillery, it's 100%.
When it comes out of the still, it's usually about 82 to 86%.
Like, make you go blind type of alcohol. Like, you couldn't drink it.
The occasional test as it's coming out, but you're drinking it, you're tasting it.
Oh, my goodness.
And I love your branding.
Yeah,
Hello is new, isn't it?
This is
yeah, it's
incredible.
changed it. So it's Copper Cock, and it used to be spelt COCK, because it was a bit tongue-in-cheek and was a bit fun.
Yeah.
And now, you
It
know,
didn't go down.
some
It
people
didn't
love
go
it.
down well on the internet searches, did it?
No. That was one downside of it. There were people that are saying they tried Googling the brand and got inappropriate things. And yeah, so because we decided we decided then towards the end of last year what we're going to do now, so concentrate more on the distillery and sort of wind down the bar. So, well, okay, we're going to sort of have a mini rebrand. So we spelled the spelling of cock to the French way of COQ. It does reflect the fact that, you know, it's more French.
More product, yeah.
And yeah, so we contacted a guy called Julien Lefebvre. I think that's how he says now. It's quite complicated. Lefbevre.
Yeah, Feb.
Lefebvre. But really great guy, and he did all the design work for us.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, that's
Oh, for some reason I was under the impression it was your mom's art,
Oh,
handiwork.
the original logo was my mum's.
Oh, right. Okay, so when you made the change.
When we were making the change, he asked if he could change the cockerel, and we said yes, he can.
Nice.
So yeah.
Yeah, so you had all this change before you did the Christmas market in Paris. So yeah, so tell us a little bit about your experience at the Christmas market in Paris, because obviously markets are such a huge part of how small independent businesses function in France. If you're selling merchandise, food, drink, things like that, you do markets, don't you?
Yeah.
And you did a lot of markets around here.
Doing a lot of markets around here. You know, we kind of have done this area of France for the past few years, and we decided really what we want to do is take it to other parts of France with a bit of a bigger audience, and let's see what happens with a Christmas market. You know,
wow.
And
So-
Paris is
Paris being Paris, the
Yeah.
most visited city on Earth.
And the most famous Christmas market in Europe, apart from maybe Cologne?
Yeah, Strasbourg.
Oh, famous as well. Yeah.
But we opted for the one in a place called La Défense in Paris. And it's the biggest one in the whole of Paris area. And even though it's still about apparently half the size it used to be pre-COVID, it's still absolutely enormous. What we didn't know was they were going to split it into 2 sections, but not even split it equally. So there was one section with 8 stands and one section with 180 stands.
Oh my God.
Right? And you ended up with
in
8 stands.
Section with 8 stands. Well, we did surprisingly well. There were a lot of people in this area with only 8 stands that didn't do well, and they one of the chaps, he got shut down after 3 weeks because he was hoping to pay the second half of the instalment from money he turned over.
And then
had
it sells.
too much not turned over anything because there was very little footfall coming through for most of the day. It was only in our section only got busy some evenings and at the weekends.
It's madness because it costs a lot of money. I mean, even here, it's not cheap to have a stall at a market.
Not really. Some of them are very cheap. Some of them are a bit more expensive. So you still have to sort of hedge your bets and give it a go. And you can sort of take it for the first time you do it if it's going to be worthwhile or a place you should be going back to.
Yeah.
But once you've signed up for the ones for a big Christmas market, like the one in La Défense, it's the longest running as well. So it started at the beginning of November and ran up sort of a couple of days before New Year's Eve.
But you had rules as well, like you couldn't shut your stall. Once you're there, you have to be open.
You have to have your stall open every day. There was one morning when I was rather late because we'd actually made some friends who turned out they were the coaches of Paris Stade Francais rugby team. Artists the match. We had a few drinks and everything.
Yeah.
So the next day, I wasn't the earliest riser in the morning. So I sort of meandered my way into town and thought I'd actually stop for lunch. And I started getting messages from the organisers saying, "Are you okay? Your stall isn't open."
Wow.
I replied back, say, "Yes, I've got an emergency on my hands. So I'll be there."
Emergency sausage sandwich in my hands.
Oh, yeah, it was a big sit-down meal.
Oh, you had a proper yeah. You went at a restaurant. 3 courses.
When in France, does the French.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I like
So then I turned up at the stand and all the other stand owners were, "Oh, Lex, sorry, they've been coming around, they've been taking photos of your stand." And I said, "Well, there's nothing much they can do about it. They've got them divided the way they have.
Yeah.
They even block people coming into our section when they think it's getting too full, and it's not.
Wow, that seems
a very strange,
rules within it.
Yeah, but to learn these things, obviously, we don't know any of these things about it. You think, oh, you just pay for a stall, and like it was a long time. You guys were
everything we do seems to be a learning curve, and we learn everything we do.
Yeah. Which is the same.
Which is right.
Yeah, it's the French way, isn't it? It is the French. You decide to do something, and then you have to learn everything about it, and then you turn around and do something different, and you then know nothing about it.
Course correcting here is a way of life, as most places. So I'm from the Charente, so I'm not from the Dordogne, so I don't really know Ribérac this way very well. So do you go to a local Ribérac? Is this Ribérac your town?
It is.
Your town. So do you have a weekly market or something?
So the Ribérac Friday market is one of the biggest in the area.
Oh, it's a Friday.
Yeah,
Friday mornings.
Yeah.
Oh. Did you feel like you were being pulled to the restaurant and the bar and then trying to do your gin? It was too much?
It was a few months after we opened the distillery. My parents retired from the restaurant.
Right.
And my wife and I live above the restaurant. And we had a chat and we decided, it was a bit silly not to give it a go and have a bar because it'd be a great flagship for the distillery.
Yeah.
Now, having grown up basically in hospitality, do know what's entailed, but thought it would be easier to manage it than it turned out to be, in that trying to do 2 things at the same time.
Yeah.
So for the past few years, the distillery got very neglected in what you did with it. We should have been pushing it more and going to places with it and concentrating on it. Yeah.
Yeah, you just spend all your time doing running a bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a full-time career in itself, is
Yeah.
I
Just being a victim of your own success as well, because you're good in the kitchen. I mean, you were doing pub grub mainly.
Yeah. It was very
But
simple.
it was
food.
simple pub food, but consistent and good.
Yeah.
Actually, I kept on being told that it's the best fish and chips anyone's ever tasted.
got to see what, especially from English people.
People were telling me, and I was like, I taught him.
Yeah.
There we are.
Yeah. But he's gone now. So that was another thing about the bar, was like, you didn't want to go back in the kitchen.
No.
And the kid that you had trained up to cook in your kitchen has gone and gotten a really good job in.
Well, he's still at catering college, but it was very handy for all the times he was on holiday. He could always come back to the bar, and we had an open door policy for him. Anytime he wanted to come back, he could come back. He could. But because he's at catering college for this year, they want him to go away to a proper 5-star hotel environment.
He's going to.
He's in Corsica.
In course.
Oh my God.
Yeah. We were trying to get him to go to Ireland because, as we put it to him, the only thing he needs to really improve on is his English. So if he goes to Ireland, the food there's another level, and it's really, really, he'll learn a lot, and he'll learn language.
He's pretty good at
But
English.
He's better than he lets on a lot of the time. But he did have this fear that he might not know who to talk to, how to talk to anybody, which is why he's very much settled in the end. He went to Corsica.
Go back to the gin, because obviously I want to get my hands on this now. No. So, can you buy it from supermarkets, Lex, or?
Not at the moment. We're going to start talking to some local supermarkets.
Yeah.
We're going to talk to some.
In my local Lidl, please.
We're working to try and get it onto Amazon.
Yeah.
All
It's not as easy as it
right.
seems. And
Is that because of alcohol?
it's because of alcohol and trying to get someone to actually talk to from them is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So-
They don't have like a
Robot.
person
Yeah.
customer service. Yeah.
We had a great chat with one of the people last year who basically told us we were ready to go. And then once we filled out the last pieces of the paperwork, which we then did, and they were rejecting the excise number, which we even contacted the Douane, and they confirmed that this is the correct excise number. But their computer program at Amazon was saying it's not, and we could never get past that. So now we went and rebranded everything. So the trademark for the new brand is in the process of going through. So once that's actually
Got to restart.
reset and everything, then we can start everything again with it.
And then once you have it on Amazon, you could buy it in the UK on Amazon.
It'll be down to Amazon. They tend to ship between their warehouses across Europe.
Oh, nice.
So yeah.
So what if
So-
you were in the UK and you want to get a hold of some copper pop gin? What would you do?
At the moment, you can come see us or our website, which is going back live soon. You can go on that.
And what's the web address for your website?
So coppercock, spelled with Q.com.
Perfect. Amazing. Easy.
Yeah.
Simple.
That's easy to remember.
Yeah, exactly.
So people say if they were having a birthday party, would they come to your distillery to like buy bottles or?
Yeah. I mean, there's people that actually phone up and say, but they've got a certain amount they might to order. We drive around to the house and drop it off.
Oh, right.
But,
Okay.
yeah, we're going to do more open days and things with the distillery for people to come and see the stuff because the stills are beautiful pieces of equipment. It's always nice to go to where it's actually made and you can see some of the process going on. And
I would definitely be up for a tour, Lex. Like I went to a vineyard near my house, and we had a tour, and of all the like Pinot, how they make Pinot, and then they've got a really cool shop, so you could go and like taste some and buy your produce there. I think that is one of the beautiful things about France, that you can actually go and see how it's made, meet people. And people love to know about the process of things, not just the end product.
Yeah.
I think people are really interested in that.
Yeah.
we're pretty proud of our process and that we don't use any chemicals or anything.
Yeah.
It's only from natural ingredients. So
And do you buy all your, so like your ingredients that you were saying, was it sugar, something?
butterfly
Butterfly pea flour. So you import those?
we tend to get through quite a lot of them. So
Yeah.
we haven't found anybody that can basically keep up with supplying us. So they have several people that we contact,
Yeah.
one after the other.
Oh,
And-
in France?
No,
Oh,
I
right.
haven't found anyone. We tried to grow them ourselves.
I was going to say, that was what it's
We spent quite a lot of money on about 6 seeds, and it just didn't work at all. But it's something we will try again.
Yeah, I'm amazing if you can grow things
A
yourself.
lot of all the botanicals we use, so all the lemons and limes and oranges, all the peels, we peel them, we dehydrate them. The gingers we cut up, we dehydrate. The iris root, we do the same.
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff we can do ourselves. And the other things, we had an idea of going down the route of, buy whatever we can locally.
Yeah.
And we would do if we could find it. But from everything else, we buy the best quality pod we can possibly find anywhere in the world, as long as it's going to be the best we can get.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's quite exotic, some of this stuff, though. Like ginger, might not be able to get that. Look, rhubarb you probably could get locally, because rhubarb seasonal.
Buy it from some people in the market.
Yeah.
Find it.
Blood oranges, same again, not really a local product.
We get all those from Spain.
Yeah, yeah.
The cranberries, they come usually from North America.
Yeah.
That's better to you in there.
Some cranberry bogs.
Any English? No.
By North America, I did mean Canada.
Oh, yeah, but Canada, it's like the north of the U.S. is definitely where the cranberry bogs are, so it makes sense. Canada and US.
There's actually a supply we used last year from Poland.
Oh, wow.
Cranberries, which was a new thing.
Cool.
And they were really good, and we definitely use them again.
Do you get to go and visit any of these places?
No, I haven't yet. It'd be very nice things to do in the winter time is go off to some of these more exotic places and
get some rays. But the knowledge that you have and the experience and the fact that you do it all yourself, no chemicals, the way the world's going now, I would honestly start doing a podcast about your product.
I'll just come and see you.
Or come and see us. Yeah.
Come be on the...
So, on a summer's day, a gin and tonic with some ice cube is just... So, I mean, I'm a normal drinker. I have gin, tonic, and ice cubes. Is there anything, maybe a little umbrella if I'm feeling really fancy?
Well, I mean, we've got... These are quite popular in cocktails now, aren't they? The dry...
So these are some of the dry fruits we do. And, you can see one of those in the glass. It does add a essence and a flavour.
And it looks great.
So did you just say cocktails?
Yeah. And so
what kind of cocktails do you...
favourite one I used to make was the blue one. Was based on a Tom Collins. Because we had used blue gin, we called it a Blue Collins. So it was literally the gin, lemon juice, sugarcane syrup, and soda water.
Sounds yummy. Actually, sounds way better to me than a gin and tonic.
Yeah.
I'm not a tonic fan. And then...
Because they're not the tonic water?
No. You like tonic, you drink it.
Yeah, I drink it just like that sometimes.
Yeah, no, it's bitter, isn't it?
I'm not a great fan of tonic water on its own.
Yeah.
No, I sometimes, because I'm always in the car, Lex, or driving somewhere, when it's a hot day like this, I'll have a tonic water and pretend it's a gin.
While you're drinking.
Do you do non-alcoholic gin?
No, that's something we're actually still working on.
We do that and write my name on the
working on it because it's a bit harder to make than actually gin because it's the alcohol that helps strip the flavours and the essences out of the fruits, as out of the rest of the botanicals.
Yeah, it's like the solvent. Alcohol is the solvent for the flavours, for the oil.
Yeah. A few of the non-alcoholic gins I've tried have just been really terrible things.
Right, yeah.
They haven't had much bearing on gin. It's just been really
the different gin products. And I think, if you're going to go down that road, and I actually do think, I know we're in France and everyone drinks and blah, 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 and it's, but I, being somebody that drives all the time, I really go to a lot of parties, but I can't drink. So that kind of product, I'm always scouting for so I can feel like I'm being sociable. Yeah. But no alcohol at all. But if you come up with that, I'll be your first customer.
It's hopefully something we'll crack in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, that quick?
We haven't.
What's my birthday?
We have been working on it for a few years. It's just trying to get it right.
Yeah.
It's to a consistent level.
And I think that's the thing, isn't it? You just see a bottle and it's obviously not miraculously produced itself. There's so much research and trial and error, I guess, that goes into these kind of products.
Oh, yeah, we have done a lot of trial and error.
Well, I mean, one of the things that we were going to talk about, or I wanted to ask you, was about the the rules for starting the distillery. It's not, you can't just magic up the rights to open a distillery. It took a lot of paperwork.
Yeah, there was quite a lot of paperwork involved.
Yeah.
So we had to approach the douane, which are the Customs and Excise authorities, and was their office of Bergerac. They're actually extremely helpful.
And you have to approach them because you import the raw alcohol.
No.
So even if you made the raw alcohol yourself, they are part of
Absolutely.
customs.
So we have a computer system to use from them. So we buy the neutral spirits to make the gin from.
Which is what all companies do.
Every gin distillery does in the world, because it's the neutral spirits that you need. And in a small distillery our size, we wouldn't be able to produce the quantities and the purity of having zero flavour, zero taste in such huge quantity as the massive distilleries that literally just make alcohol for distill.
And so it's the same alcohol, not just for gin, but like, say, the Grey Goose vodka or Belvedere, they buy the same alcohol that you buy.
Some of them do.
Wow. And then they distill.
Same people that we buy from.
Yeah.
The same product. And
I didn't know this either. When he says distill, I just think of like, up in the mountains, making moonshine, making your own, like, you're making your like 100 proof alcohol that then you turn from that into something else by adding flavors.
Is coming out in full force now.
I know.
So how did you put those gold flakes in? Because when I first saw it, it was like epic.
Yeah, so we buy sheets of
like lick.
No, it's gold
Leaf.
Gold leaf, that's the word. It's gold leaf. So it's pure gold, and it's pounded extremely flat, so it's thinner than paper, and it's really, really fragile.
Yeah.
So what we do now actually is we put it in a blender with a little bit of the with just a bit of the gin, but not too much of it because we don't want to bruise the alcohol. And then we divide it up into a bigger batch, and then
that's amazing. It's just, when I saw it, it took my breath away.
What does bruise the alcohol mean?
Well, you can sort of tasty bruise our flavours.
So by blending it.
So when you make your cocktail in a cocktail shaker, if you over agitate it, you're going to damage the flavour.
Oh, right.
So there's actually quite an art to cocktail making.
There is. When I was at Longevo, I met a mixologist, and oh my God.
I think it's one of the greatest titles in the world.
A mixologist. As you know, like how much money he made from it. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And he travels literally around the world teaching people how to make like the best cocktails and stuff. And in the short time that I'd met him, his information was incredible. And he blew me away. And I was like, that's amazing, because he's focused on that one thing and becomes such an expert. Yeah. He's in such high demand everywhere. And I think you would take, I never got to visit the Copper Court. I'd heard about it, even from the Charente. I thought from the Charente, like half an hour away. But I heard about it. You had an incredible reputation, and I never got to come over this way. But I think your product is just amazing. I know everyone asks this question in a podcast or something, but I think it's relevant for the fact of, where do you see your business going in the next few years? Like, what are your next goals? Because you've done so well already.
Well, sky's the limit, really.
Yeah.
Now it's just concentrating solely on this.
Yeah.
We plan to expand to sell a lot more products and increase the variety of things we sell.
Yeah. I think that's great. So how many different flavors have you got in total?
I think we're up to about 8 different gins.
Oh.
And then are you still making rum?
Well, we're still working on the rum. I'm still working on schnapps.
Oh, I think you do so.
His rum's quite nice. I think it tastes like apple pie.
It's quite heavily spiced rum.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Spiced rum, but to me, it's like, it's not strong. It's not like in your face strong rum. It's just lovely.
The first one we ever tried to make, bought the molasses, fermented them, ran it through the stills, then spiced it. Some friends came round, we gave them a little taster of it, and I don't know if we're allowed to swear in this. Yes, one of my friends simply responded as he started coughing, "You can't fucking sell that."
You've got a very good, honest friend there.
Yeah.
Then, as over the next couple of weeks, as more people tried it, we had basically started making a list, because we had this idea we want to put all the things people said about it on the bottle.
On the bottle.
So you will say, "You cannot fucking sell this. It tastes like Christmas.
Yeah.
I
don't like rum.
But I like this.
No.
No, I don't like rum. But no, I might have said that. I was like, no. I bet that was. it tastes like Christmas mod in my mind, but also
No,
that's
it
the
was
thing.
the
So
first
you
one.
wouldn't do your rum seasonal. You know, it's like you could sell it year round, but then just do a different packaging for Christmas. You know,
Yeah. One chap who had a bit of few smoky drinks before he even arrived to try it, did say, this is the strangest gin I've ever had.
Really?
because he thought it was gin. It's rum. I think the strangest gin I've ever had. Is like, mate,
Oh dear. Don't you before you arrive is the lesson learned.
knowing what you're drinking is definitely key to understanding the flavor.
Yeah.
Like, you know, blind taste test.
Now we are very much refining it, and we're getting it down to the fine arts that it is.
I think you've got an amazing product here. I love everything about it, Lex. You've done amazingly well. Like, if I was looking for you on social media, do you have a social media?
Yeah, so we have a Facebook account.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly the most tech-savvy person in the world. My IT specialist is my wife. Constitutes what everyone actually thinks. Linda does have her own job. And everything I do with like the bar and the distillery, that's Linda's free time she uses.
She
To
donates.
you, Lex. What a wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does a good job.
What a fucking lady.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh my God. Thank you so much for your time, Lex.
Yeah,
Like, it's been really interesting, and I love to learn about things that I really adore, which is gin.
Would you come back on?
Absolutely. So next time I'll get you guys to come to the distillery.
Yeah,
So see works to do on the place, so we replace some bits of floor and stuff if anyone can come in there.
yeah, and then maybe advertise some like tours and stuff, and obviously your non-alcoholic gin will be there ready, waiting for me.
Be ready.
Yeah, I'm excited for everything that you've done. I think you're an incredible guy, and you've done an incredible job. And
How much?
hats off to you, Lex.
Same to you guys, because this podcast has become extremely popular.
Isn't it weird, Lex?
2 weeks ago, Linda and I were in Ireland touring around the place, and we didn't have the radio, and we had Pardon Your French.
That's so that is really cute.
It's awesome.
If we could come up with a Pardon Your French cocktail. So I love alcohol, but I don't know how to mix it and make it taste good. You've got a much better idea and understanding than I have, and obviously you're an expert, so maybe between us.
Ooh, we could
We work on something like that.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
So yeah,
You can
that would cool.
A Pardon Your French cocktail
Yeah.
available in like bars and restaurants in the area, I think would be absolutely epic.
For a French person to walk up to a bar and say, I would like you pardon you are French.
But that's a good idea.
Yeah, he's very good. He's very good at his French accents. We've got to say goodbye. So, thank you so much for watching this episode of Pardon Your French podcast. If you're enjoying the podcast, think about that gin cocktail that we're discussing. Give us some ideas, and like and subscribe and follow us on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and YouTube.
Yeah, it's subjects that we're touching on obviously do hit home with you guys, but if there's any other subjects that you'd love to discover about France, if you're not living here and you want to, or if you live here and you think, actually, I'd love to know more, just let us know.
Yeah,
Jump on that. We'll find the expert, like we found Lex.
tune in.
Bring to you. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Bye.